But we're talking about shows. What'd you think of The Boys? You finally got to watch The Boys.
So, spoiler warning here, and you should probably put up a giant graphic.
Yes,
when we do the YouTube
good idea.
video.
I don't have one ready, but spoilers for sure that we're just gonna talk, blow it out the ass as far as The Boys season 2.
So we both finished season 2.
Mhm.
Season 2, like season 1, I loved season 1. Season 2 was a time and a half better.
Mm.
Would you agree or disagree?
I would agree because they didn't have to like set much up as far as like the world in the first one, so they can get right into the history on all these characters, their family issues. I was listening to a bunch of podcasts with the showrunners, and the main theme was family, and that clicked in my head like afterwards, like they really do show the whole connection and their issues that they have individually. But
especially with Huey and what's his name, Joe Danger.
The main guy, yeah. Brock, or what's his fucking name?
Fuck is his name?
Carl Urban's character.
Yeah, I did love those. Just like the thing about Carl Urban is you may have watched him in something and not even known it, and it was just a bunch of pictures of Carl Urban and things that I didn't fucking know he was in.
Yeah.
He really does visually transform.
Oh yeah, he's one of the best.
Roles.
He was in Star Trek, like the reboot movie. He did great in that.
Right? Was he Scotty?
I want to say he was like the Scottish or
No, he wasn't Scotty. He was
the doctor dude.
Yeah, he was Scotty. That
Okay.
looks nothing like this character.
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, he really visually transforms. He's very impressive.
But what'd you think? Because they introduce Stormfront. She's kind of like the new baddie in this whole season. And
I loved her. Like I've said from the beginning, and I get in this argument with my coworkers because so many of them hate that side shaved look.
I think it's cool, but
which you can't turn me on harder. But yeah, so she came in, and I thought she was very likable, especially when Starlight is very excited about her. She thinks it's cool that there's a woman with similar values, even though they come from very different backgrounds. We're seeing the girl that can pop people like a balloon in the footage, and that's
which we were both thinking like she's the one related to those head explosions.
I didn't think that.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a different explosion. She implodes people. The heads were an explosion.
I feel like she could control it, but yes, you're right. Though as far as what they showed us, yes, she wasn't doing that.
Terrifying. Kamiko's brother was a super interesting plot line. It was unique. You really see the limits of these people's powers. Like he's not telepathic, but telekinetic, but only with his hands.
Right.
What a unique weakness. And you see what superheroes / villains are invincible versus ones that are vincible. And then I was still calling it. I was sure the end of the season was going to end with somebody using
B.
No, what's his name? Sword. Who's the guy in Black Noir's sword? Because in the beginning, there's that super terrorist,
right?
And his power is that he can explode, and so he's clearly invincible if he can explode and survive. So my theory was, so when he gets killed by Black Noir's sword, clearly he has a sword that can kill invincible people.
They really just show up for that scene, though. I don't think it ever comes up again. But yeah.
But
they do show more of the vulnerabilities with everybody, especially with like not Stormfront, but Frostbite. What's the chick's name with the with the electricity powers?
Stormfront.
No, the other one, the blonde one. I'm blanking on her name, but she doesn't have.
Oh, it's not electricity. It's
She just has like these power electrical kind of bursts.
Starlight.
There you go. But at one point she has to like charge it with a battery, but then it never happens again. But there was this.
No, it happens again when she's sealed in that room.
Oh, okay.
And that's something I think they introduced some rules in this season that I don't think they introduced in season 1.
Yeah.
So Homelander has super hearing. I don't remember that in season 1.
Well, he will occasionally talk about how he's like, "What are you talking about?" But he really knows what they're actually talking about because he's been around.
But I don't think that was in season 1.
True. Yeah, they're kind of deciding when stuff is in play, when it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like a lamplighter, he can't use the fire until he can control fire, but he can't actually create it. But I thought he was a cool character. It sucked that he died.
He was so interesting.
Yeah, I guess he was kind of tormented by the fact that he lit what's-her-face's kids on fire, so he kind of needed something to make it worth it for whatever he's doing, and then like end his life because he's just he didn't. he didn't want to deal with it anymore. But
I think something that surprised me too is like I loved Frenchie before,
yeah,
but fuck if he can't get it now, that's
yeah, oh yeah,
he's
Frenchie's arc
so
was
adorable.
awesome. Yeah, him with Kimiko, and Kimiko finally like teaching him that language, and then bonding, and him like letting her go, being her own person, and being able to like take care of herself. There's that. There's the Deep he's been more comical like this whole season, but I like his arc trying to change and get back in the world in the Seven.
That scene they just showed where he lasers the guy, like
Yeah,
when you see him shut the door.
yeah,
Fuck.
because he was just in there with his kid. The kid's gone, and like I think they play on the radio. It's like, oh, has the kid been extracted or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's on at that point. But Homelander he's one of my favorite characters because he's so fucking nuts. But and I hated him in the first one, but like this season with his kid, they show that he does have redeeming qualities. I think it's maybe the last episode where he's having the kid for most of the day, and he's actually like being human with him and like thinking about how he was raised and trying to do a better job. But then you take that away from him at the end of the season.
Right.
So good luck with him season 3.
I don't, and that's a weird thing too, is he's basically surrounded by traitors in his mind.
Yeah, no one's loyal to him, no one. But he's also been an asshole to get him to that degree, but he doesn't see it that way.
I will say, I thought Maeve up until the end had the shittiest story arc of this season. But boy, when she comes through at the end, if you don't fucking love her,
yeah,
like,
she finally does something, but she's also just kind of over it. She has that scene with
I mean, she was over it in season 1.
Yeah, true.
She hasn't wanted to be
everything.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, what about as far as Stormfront being a Nazi and that whole series of events?
Dude, that was the coolest plot revelation. Like,
yeah,
I had so many theories. Like I was watching with my friend, and we both had all these wild theories about what's going on with her. She's very much covered up. She's the most covered up of any of the characters in the show. So I thought there was some sort of physical, like Deadpool thing where she's got fucked up skin. We find out she's like committing hate crimes back in the whatevers.
Right.
And so like the theories are wild, and you find out she's so much older.
Right.
Than you thought, and she's so much worse than you thought.
Yeah. And I guess there's subtle hints that become more prominent. The way she'll deal with anybody who's black or of color, she's always just like an asshole, but they don't really explain why until you realize at the end. And then she's full-blown racist, like saying a bunch of racist shit towards the end of the season. But
I mean, I didn't realize though that's why what's his name got kicked out, the Speedy guy.
Oh yeah,
Speedster.
But I know you're talking about. Yeah, he got kicked out, and finally, when she's gone, he can come back. Although I don't think they don't show her fully dead. I wonder if she'll have some kind of Darth Vader moment where they give her some robot arms and stuff.
That's why I was so concerned at the very last shot of the season where like Homelander is just like,
oh,
I'm like, don't be fucking Stormfront's corpse, please, for the love of fuck. That's so in line with this show.
Here's the thing,
you were to do
that's fucked up, but the show would have 100% gone that route. Like they do that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
There's that scene with him in Stormfront where they're in the back alley and they squish that dude's head. It's just like they 100% understand where they're going and what they are. Yeah. And I guess based on the comic did all this too, but there's also, I just love the fact, like, it reminds me a lot of The Watchmen, where there's the political through line with Stormfront being racist, but also how she controls people with fear, how she does these like political moves and memes online. It's like that's what's happening now, and they're 100% trying to relate to that, and that's what Watchmen did with dealing with like real world issues, and I love that they're doing that. That's another like side of the show that should get more praise, but because it is kind of wacky and like really gross, I think people might not see that side of it, but it's truly just like a lens on what's going on.
I think my favorite line of her that rings so true is just like, people feel the same way, they just don't like the word Nazi.
That stuck out to me too. I was telling Meg, it's like, that's 100% what's going on. That's exactly right. It's just they don't like that. It's too harsh, but I'm exactly in line with what she wants.
Right.
But that name is a little too negative. But I love that she got her ass fucking whooped. I was hoping they would have finished the job, but that scene was very much earned because she's a complete asshole.
It definitely, like, so you did feel season 2 is better than season 1.
Yeah, I love season 1 too as well, but I think season 2, yeah, because you have the character established, you can like go into more detail, and shit's popping off way more than the first season too.
Could this be like the new like Breaking Bad in terms of like
Yeah,
like show of a generation, right?
I think it could. I think the only thing that keeps it away from that is the fact that they go so extreme. I think it's not going to get the same kind of Emmy Award winning kind of stuff.
Was Breaking Bad? Now, I've never.
It was.
For the one audience member out there, I've never watched Breaking Bad. It was pretty extreme, right?
It was.
Like, there's a guy who's missing half his face.
There's an event that happens, yeah. Or they try and dissolve, and they fail at it. They try and dissolve a body in a tub with, like, chemicals and stuff.
That was I actually did see that.
Okay, yeah. There's definitely dark shit, but I think because they try and go with more of a real world relatability, and this is like fantastical. I think it's not gonna give him the same praise, but it 100% earns it. It's just doing it a different way.
I think one thing, and season 2 didn't deal with this as much as season 1, but something I really thought about the other day is like, really these superheroes are taking advantage of these religious people, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. So I'm an atheist, and as an atheist, I'm an atheist because I don't have proof that there is a God. If fucking Homelander came rocketing in, said he was on a mission from God, I'd be at church every goddamn Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, that's proof at that point that there would be, even though in the he's not. That's not what it is. It's V. And why was there not a bigger uproar from the religious people when the V kicked out?
I think it's because of the narrative, and they can control that narrative, and Vought did a good job of like still trying to spin it, just like you have with corporations today. It's like you can have this shit show that happens in the public, but if you can spin it the right way, you can still get your fans on your side.
One thing I thought was a weird, I don't know if it's a plot hole, but they mentioned that they can only inject V into children. They have to start when they're children. But Stormfront was given the first successful dose of V as a full adult. Yeah,
there's some things you need to explain further, but also they end the season with they're gonna have some kind of approval to give it to like law enforcement.
Yeah, they're trying to give it to adults.
So they must have been still studying and testing this and making it. There was that whole like underground or above ground layer where they have all these people that they're testing on.
Yeah.
So maybe that's them working the solution out, the formula.
Which reminds me, have you watched Project Power yet?
I did. I watched 45 minutes of it. It's pretty cool. I was busy doing other stuff and multitasking, but
you're gonna skip the ending?
No, I just haven't finished it. I'm not gonna.
That's the best fucking part.
Okay. Yeah, because you like to just watch the ending, so you just watch the ending first and then you watch the show. That's what you do, Gavin. That's what you do. But yeah, that's a show I need to watch as well. But as far as how they ended season 2 with that one chick, the revelation that the senator lady is the one exploding heads, where do you think they go with that into the next season? With her being maybe the new baddie, secret baddie.
I don't think she's going to be secret baddie. I think she's going to be fucking up the plot at weird points, like she did when she did that big head explode fest. I can't figure out her motive.
That's the thing.
And that's on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's her angle's not obvious, and it's hard to tell what her motives are. Like, she's kind of with Vought, but for how long? And she's secretly exploding heads. And the right head.
I don't think she's with Vought. I think that's why she exploded that guy's head. She's exploded the heads of all the people that know she's a soup.
Okay. Did they possibly know that she's a soup?
Well, there was the one guy in the wheelchair. He definitely would have known.
Interesting. Okay.
There was the guy with the church.
Yeah. That's true. And they just had that phone call, and then she was like, well, it's over.
And we talk about Imploder Girl. Like, she's going to be out there, Lord knows what. Like, clearly she's a psychopath. I did have a friend point out that, like, we've never fully understood how strong Maeve is, but when she fight, like, Black Noir is stupid strong.
Right.
And then when she gets into a fight with Black Noir, she whoops his ass like he weighs nothing.
Yeah. They are kind of holding out on her powers. Like, what can she do? Yeah. It doesn't seem like she flies, but she can run really fast because she'll just kind of show up and just be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has superhuman strength. I guess it's more in line with Wonder Woman, but what exactly are her strengths? But yeah, she kind of I feel like she took a backseat a little bit in the season, but she still came at the end to kind of save the day a little bit.
Which is too bad because she could have been better. Like, she really, I feel like you could have tweaked her storyline with her girlfriend. Like, that's a good storyline.
Yeah. No, that part was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they also go into the grossness of, like, Vought just taking advantage of the fact that she's gay and just, like, branding everything that way, and it was just a great analogy for, I'm sure, how the corporations don't care. They just kind of will use you to do whatever they want to do.
Super on point.
But yeah, I can't wait. The season 3, I think they can't film it yet, but whenever they can start filming, I just can't fucking wait. There's a guy on that there's a show that Megan loves to watch called Supernatural. It's been on for like 25 fucking years. Yep. He's gonna be in season 3, and he's playing.
Is it Dean or is it?
It's one of them. There's 2 characters. It's one of those guys
between the 2.
Nor do I. But it's Soldier Boy, and he's gonna be some kind of like big character in the next one. So yeah.
That's right. I do forget it is a legit comic.
Yeah,
I know the comic's quite a bit different than the show.
I am interested in reading them because I wonder.
Me too. Like, I'm always worried because when I know there's major differences, like sometimes it can improve it. Sometimes it's nice to have 2 different stories. Like when I read Kick-Ass the comic before I watched Kick-Ass the movie, 2 almost completely different plots. Very like huge difference. And so it was kind of nice watching the movie. I'm like, this is just, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I know the gist, but this one ends in flamethrower jetpacks, and that's fucking nuts.
While we're talking, we're watching, just playing the trailer.
Oh, no, wait. I confused the 2. Minigun jetpacks. The other one, the comic had the flamethrower.
Oh.
I think.
So it's a jetpack powered by a minigun, just like firing down?
No, I think she has a jetpack and then a minigun. But in the end of the comic book, she does a ton of blow. Okay. And whips out a flamethrower and murders everyone in that apartment. Like, it's equally as awesome in the movie and the comic book. Just 2 different.
I see.
2 different endings, but also Kick-Ass. His jaw is not connected at the end of that point in the comic, which makes it that much more epic.
Gotcha. I know we're talking over the trailer for season 2. I'm glad I never watched this trailer because there's so much that they fucking show as we're talking.
This is the whole plot.
This entire plot. Like, why would you show this? But that's the thing. I will consciously disconnect from trailers or anything that I dig because they do exactly this.
Yeah.
They just show the entire kit and caboodle. It's like, I need to see this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
But you really don't know the context behind this shit. There were a few things in there. Like, I knew, like, she like getting her tits lasered. And that doesn't come in until way late in the season.
That's true, but I like the feeling of experiencing that, fresh. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen, and then
when you're confused about her flight, because they show her flying in this trailer, but she doesn't fly until episode.
It was Maeve 6. I was confused with because Maeve can kind of get places quickly, but they never show how she gets there. Then Wonder Woman will like jump super high, super far, kind of like Hulk. He'll just like hop around.
That's kind of what I thought Stormfront did, because she hits the ground. Not that Homelander doesn't hit the ground super rough and take off super rough, but like the way she launches, I think it's more in the lines of like Jessica Jones, where she doesn't fly, she just jumps like fucking nuts. Like when you think Superman leaps a building in a single bound, why is he leaping? He can fly.
Right.
No, these people are leaping.
That makes more sense. Yeah, they just have every ability is turned up to these extreme values. But yeah, Boys was dope.
Also, this is the shot where I thought we were gonna get a thick soup, and so I was super excited. Like,
it's they don't
thick,
really
shaved side of the head. Like, I don't know how many of my numbers you need to be calling. But,
you're like Homelander at the end of the season, just on top of a roof.
Yes, jerking it to the whole satay.
I am excited for his just descent because he's already been insanely nuts, but now with everything stripped away from him, his descent into madness, Homelander, into season 3. Like, sure. I cannot wait for that.
Well, there was still that scene that like everyone that saw him laser that crowd, and it was like something in his head, but we all believed it happened.
Sure,
that was 100% where his character was going. I think he has that moment next season.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, and so I can't wait to see how they deal with him as a threat, because he really can't be stopped too. So good luck with that.
I think his son can do it. Now
maybe
because now he lasered Stormfront in the titties, and now I think he can tone it down. Like,
right, I think it was 4-plate laser, not I'm trying to cut you in half laser.
When he heated up the milk, like clearly you can't just be lasering a bottle.
Sure.
But like when his son absolutely obliterates Stormfront,
right? But he can't control it, so there's levels to it, to that ability.
But I think that's going to be his son's only power. I don't think his son's going to be able to fly. I don't even think he's invincible. I think he's just got laser eyes.
Yeah, we'll see. I wonder what that's a whole another aspect of season 3 too. What happens to the kid?
I hope they bring him back. That was, I don't know. This was also definitely a season where I think I was most pissed at Butcher. He definitely shows that he's a scumbag.
I thought he was gonna go full blown like nail in the coffin scumbag when he was gonna go back on that deal with the son at the end.
Yeah.
But I like that he had his redeeming moment to not do that.
Barely. Was that purely because Homelander came along? Was he about to go hammer time on this fucking child?
That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, because he grabs that crowbar or whatever. Yeah, but he has his issues with his dad, so I think he's kind of like, seeing himself and the whole thing. So
I really like that plot part of it.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be nice if he evolved better. Like, he's clearly not healed from that, and he's not fixing himself, but he is explained fully. He needed his brother to guide him. His brother is gone.
Yeah.
Huey's the best he's got.
Right. Yeah, so I'm very excited for season 3. There's so much they can go, directions they can go in, so can't fucking wait. But
it's been 34 minutes and we have not talked about video games.
Yeah, it's just the boys
so
there.
Have to,
let's bring one more video game. You know what, before we end on the boys, I was going to show you an image of this. So this was circulating around, and it's Who Could Be Wolverine, and it's related to what we're talking about. But it's this picture right here.
This is where
I feel like I could sign up for this.
Is he short enough to do it?
I don't think it fucking matter. I'm done with this whole is he short thing.
No, he's the one fucking superhero that short people have. Don't take this from them.
I don't care at all. He would be perfect for Wolverine.
Peter Dinklage.
Well, Peter Dinklage was in X-Men Days of Future Past, and he played a dude, but he wasn't a superhero. You're right. But,
okay, so give me another one. I'm not hearing it with this. Like, this is fine. I'd rather him play, but to be fair, in this, if we're just going who looks directly like him, he reminds me more of what's his name's version of Sabretooth.
True.
Mainly because
I think
of
we
the
just
accent, but
disagree on this, because it's also a matter of, okay, you have to look the part. I don't care about the shortness thing, but you have to look the part. Also, you have to have the acting chops to compare with like Hugh Jackman. You have to be a well enough figure. This is the next. I can't see anybody else who's in the mix who could possibly fill the role of Wolverine like he did.
That's another role, by the way. This guy was fucking Dredd.
Yeah, I want another Dredd. The first one was awesome.
That was such a good.
But this was
movie
circulating,
that I didn't watch for many minutes because it was so fucking gory.
Yeah. That movie's dope. But I'm 100% with Karl Urban to be Wolverine. I think he would absolutely nail it. But
he'd nail it, but give me a shorty.
I don't care about that at all.
Topher Grace, baby.